In 2019, the wildlife artist and naturalist Gisèle Benoit celebrates a very special anniversary. 40 years ago, she met a character who is still present in her life today. Gisèle's passion for the moose is as vibrant as it was on the first day. Welcome to your first rendezvous with nature on GB.tv. It is autumn, the mating season of the king of our forests, the perfect moment to observe it. The slightest creak attracts the male in search of a partner. With his very fine hearing, the moose has heard Gisèle's footsteps. He believes that one of his fellows lurks in the vicinity, preferably a female to whom he announces his coming vocally. The lookout of the naturalist being higher up, he does not perceive her smell. Although Gisèle has spent hundreds of hours with moose, the approach of a big male in rut remains for her one of the most beautiful shows in the wild. As soon as the moose smells human odor, he becomes worried and understands his mistake. Gisèle is deeply gratified when watching the moose move away, free and majestic. She knows that he will be able to pass on his genes, continue his life, and play his role in the ecosystem. Maybe other people will have the privilege of admiring this large bull moose in its natural environment. As pioneers, Gisèle and her parents, Monique and Reynaud, welcome the fact that today more and more people are engaged in the observation of wildlife and wildlife photography. Like other inspiring wildlife defenders, such as Grey Owl and Jane Goodall, the trio of Quebec naturalists has been contributing for decades to move society towards a new relationship with the living world.
My parents and I were among the first to take an interest in moose for reasons other than hunting. It all began in 1979 at Gaspésie National Park in eastern Quebec. We had come to observe the caribou, but finally, the three of us had a crush on the moose. Why? Well, I think it was first its imposing physique that impressed us. The moose is the largest deer in the world. The adult bull moose can weigh over 600 kilograms and carry on his head antlers exceeding 1 meter 50 centimeters wide. With its shape of a giant perched on stilts, the moose has a raw beauty. an old elegance, almost old-fashioned, the kind of charisma that comes from the Ice Age. This animal has personality. It has presence in every sense of the word, including in a painting. So, for wildlife artists who like to give importance to the landscape, the moose is a perfect subject. And for budding naturalists as Monique, Reynaud and I were in 1979, the moose is an excellent initiation guide to the wild world, the most patient, the most generous mentor. At that time, we knew almost nothing about moose, except popular myths and beliefs. For example, the cow moose in heat calling a mate on the shore of a lake, the large bull moose in rut behaving like a brute and charging everything that moves around him, and so on. None of these clichés associated with hunting folklore were true to reality.
The Benoit's interest in moose was initially an artistic quest, but faced with so many mysteries, the naturalists quickly gave it a more scientific goal. They wanted to learn everything about our forest's king. In the early 80s, Reynaud filmed the first observations made by the trio with a Super 8 camera. Driven by her passion, Gisèle slowly entered the world of moose. So many magical moments are witnessed by the archives of the Benoit family. Later, the naturalist's bold experiments confirmed her interpretations of moose behavior, especially during the mating period. After having communicated with the giants by imitating their vocalizations, Gisèle used false antlers to go even further. For the moose lady, putting yourself in the shoes of her favorites has never been a game, a camouflage, or a feat to impress those around her. Her close contacts were a research protocol that have allowed her to interact with moose by using their vocal and gestural codes. Without the evidence provided by Reynaud's film footage, no one would have taken the Benoits seriously, as their work was shaking up misconceptions. In 1993, the Benoits made their first professional documentary in collaboration with the CBC, the Canadian National Television Network. In the Company of Moose, premiered as part of David Suzuki's popular show, The Nature of Things. Autodidacts in ethology could not hope for greater recognition. Seen by millions of viewers and translated into about 50 languages, this documentary has toured the world. Today, Gisèle's fame remains closely associated with moose.
Our studies on moose behavior are over. Now we just watch them for fun. Their presence is enough to satisfy us. Monique and I continue to paint them, and Reynaud films them whenever he has the opportunity. It is not necessary to follow our path and go very close to wild animals to have pleasure observing them. The mere fact of being on their territory allows a much wider immersion in the natural world. In fact, the value of an observation hike depends not only on the majesty of the subjects that we meet, it is the way we look at the smallest thing that counts.
Gisèle and her family have revealed the true nature of the moose, this peaceful giant. But for them, too many people only associate wildlife with hunting and trapping. Like the Benoits, many naturalists and scientists believe that the protection of ecosystems and biodiversity requires a major change in how we behave with the living. This is why non-harvesting activities must be valued by the public and the younger generation, who are more and more sensitive to conservation issues that will affect the future. The World Wildlife Fund paints an alarming record. Mammals, birds, fish, wild vertebrate populations have declined by 60% between 1970 and 2014 everywhere on Earth because of human pressures. 1 million species, such as woodland caribou, are threatened with extinction. Scientists recommend reducing pressures on wildlife and creating a network of new protected and interconnected areas across the globe. When non-harvesting activities follow ethical rules, they contribute to public awareness and encourage the creation of protected areas. Not to mention the significant economic benefits they entail: purchase of equipment, travel expenses, and stays in remote areas. As Grey Owl said, "Now, my rifle is a camera. It is a kind of sport, more fun than the other, and happily more difficult."
By the simple fact of our attentive and respectful presence in beautiful nature, we create bonds with all the living. Wildlife viewing is the antithesis of the fashion of extreme sports, performance, and competition. Because we have to walk slowly, every sense alert, we must keep our eyes open, listen to the environment, melt into silence to experience the fullness of the living. Recover the instinct, the intuition that once allowed us to live in harmony and without fear with the wild world. Nature observation is accessible to everyone. I would say it is even indispensable. Every person, every child has an urgent need to reconnect with the wild and the living.